Finally, the movie that has the courage to ask, what if King Kong was really horny? Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And this is KaiJUNE, where we're watching kaiju movies all throughout the month of June. And we are going back to the original, America's biggest kaiju monster, King Kong. But not the King Kong that you probably all know. Most people, when they think of King Kong, they think of the original. That they probably think of the MonsterVerse or the Peter Jackson one. A lot of people forgot there was a 1976 remake of King Kong, and this is the only one that I haven't seen. So I was like, you know what? If we're doing this and we're going through each of the decades, for the 70s, we have to do the 1976 King Kong film. And I have heard not a lot about this movie, but what I have heard has been kind of like, yeah. People making subpar remakes of classics is not a new thing, everybody. It's been going on for a while now. What'd you think of this movie? Yeah.
The reviews were right. It's very
it's not bad.
No, it is entertaining, so there is that.
Yes.
But it's kind of silly and sometimes annoying.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, I don't know, what was annoying about? Oh, yeah, her. I don't know if you were referring to that, but that's definitely where my mind went. Yeah, so this movie, it's similar to the original King Kong, but the story's a little bit different. They do try and modernize it a little bit. Because in the original one, I believe, it's been a long time since I've seen the original, but I believe it was a filmmaker who was like, yeah, we're going to go and make a moving picture down here. There's stories about a giant ape down there. We're going to go to this far-off island and capture some footage of it. This one, it is an oil company has discovered that there's an island out there, and they're getting some readings off of the gas coming off there, and the gas could possibly mean that there is some untouched reserves of oil on this island, and no one's ever been there. So this oil company is going down there to investigate. And the person leading this expedition is Charles Grodin. His character is Fred Wilson. And man, Charles Grodin is at max Charles Grodin in this movie. He is, if you know Charles Grodin's characters and the type that he likes to portray, he is that in this movie. He is an asshole. He is looking out for himself. This guy, it's weird. Charles Grodin has range, and I wouldn't call him a character actor. I wouldn't say he's that guy that's like, oh, if he's in the movie, he's going to be playing that one type of character because that's what he does. No, he's got range, but he definitely has a track record of playing these types of characters. Charles Grodin is rarely the guy you root for in the movie. But he's going down there, and on the ship, Jeff Bridges has stowed away. Jeff Bridges' character, Jack Prescott. And Jack Prescott is an environmentalist, but also he is an animal scientist. Specifically, he studies apes. And hello car outside. And he says he's been studying this island. And he believes that there could be signs of some kind of a giant undiscovered ape on here. In fact, he even says, okay, yes, all that gas that's around, all the smoke that's around this island, keeping people from being able to see it, it could be coming from oil, but could also be coming from, I don't even remember exactly how he describes it, but basically like the exhaust and breath of a giant ape. I'm just like, okay.
So you're saying that this island is surrounded by a fart cloud made by King Kong?
Yes, that's essentially what he says. And putting aside how goofy that premise is, the fact that he is flat out like, yeah, this entire island could be shrouded by the fumes of an ape, that should let you know right off the bat, like, okay, how big is the ape, or B, how much gas is it putting out? You should immediately realize that's a dumb, silly thing you just said. Like, yeah, we know it's true because it's a King Kong film. They don't know they're in a King Kong film. So anybody on this planet that just goes, I think there's an ape out there who emits enough gas that it could cover an entire island with a thick Silent Hill style smog, should immediately be laughed out of whatever room they're in. Again, we know he's correct, but even knowing he's correct, it's like nobody should immediately go to that assumption. That is a silly thing to do. So, is the dog in frame? Nope, barely out of frame. Okay.
Like, I think her paws.
I think her paws
Yeah,
in
just
frame.
her paw.
Okay. But then they end up finding this woman played by Jessica Lange. Her name is Dwan.
Like Dawn, but with the A and the W switch. And it
That's
reminds
literally what she says,
And
too.
it reminds me of like all of those people who like have to spell their names in like a different way, even though it's like the most mundane name
She
ever.
is clearly like, this
I
movie
hate you.
is very topical. And it's not just topical in terms of like the environmental message of it. Because this was around the time that like Earth Day was happening and everything. So yeah, the environmental message is definitely being felt in here. That was big in the 70s. It's also very topical in just the types of people you run into. And man, this feels, I don't know if the writer was like, I know what people are like today. I've got my finger on the pulse. There are definitely people out there like this. Or if they were like, I met this person and they were so fucking annoying. I have to shove a caricature of them into this movie because I hated Dwan. But everyone else in this movie loves Dwan.
Like, here's the thing: is like I feel like they were trying to make like someone who's more than just a damsel in distress and like
Yes.
give her a personality. The thing is, like, her personality is really fucking annoying.
Yes.
So
Yes. Because yeah, I gotta give it, that was a thought that I had too, is that I was like, okay, comparing her to the original lady in King Kong, the fact that I'm referring to her as Lady from King Kong tells you everything you need to know about the character about that character. It's like, yeah, she's there to scream as King Kong picks her up and carries her. Dwan does have a personality. I don't like Dwan's personality. She, oh my god, like this is the thing that lets me know this had to be based on someone they met, because literally, like, within a couple minutes of meeting her, she's going like, okay, what's your sign? Oh, are you a Scorpio? Oh, Mars is in retrograde right now. I was like, oh my God. I don't want to, I know there are people out there like that. I don't want to hang out with you throughout this film. And I feel like I'm going to have to hang out with you throughout this film.
Well, like, this isn't even the first 70s movie that has, like, someone like that in there. So.
Yeah. That's it. That's the thing that I gotta say. It is a topical film because Dwan is very much of the time. Like, I'm looking at her like, yeah, that person still exists today. I used to work with a person like that. But this was big during the, like, 70s, like, hippie movement, which hippies was more of a 60s thing, but 70s is when it went more mainstream. When it kind of became, I don't know the exact term that I want to use here, but when it became like not an outside thing, but it's like, yeah, it's you know, put those people in your movie. They're everywhere now.
It's like hipsters.
Yeah, kind of. And man, she drove me nuts throughout this thing. That's the thing. There's nobody in here who I really like.
Yeah.
But there's nobody that I really hate either outside of Dwan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jeff Bridges I enjoyed. The only thing that I found really goofy about him was that he seemed to just know way too much about this situation that nobody should just know about. Like, they tried a little too hard to make him just like the smart, perfect guy. Although I will say, happy Pride Month, everybody. Jeff Bridges in the 1970s. Damn. Wow. That was a good looking man. He's still good looking. He's still a good looking man, but damn, I've never seen him from this time period. Whoo, hey. This is your annual reminder that I'm bi. But Charles Grodin, I will say this about his character. He is very much still like, yeah, we need to get that oil, get in there, and yeah, we're going to make so much money on this. But there are moments where you see he kind of cares about the other people. Then other moments where you see that he doesn't. But I did enjoy that Charles Grodin and Jeff Bridges, he originally starts off fucking hating Jeff Bridges' character. He is so against him. But the moment they get on the island and they see what they're up against, they do kind of come together. They do form like a teamwork, and they do come together to try and save Dwan, which he gets kidnapped and used as bait. There's no other way to point it. And like, all right, I kind of like that. I like that there's a little bit more to him than that. And like, everybody on the ship is so in love with Dwan, and they are all bending over backwards to try and get Dwan to notice them.
Well, it's a bunch of men on a ship for who knows how long.
Understandable, but it is like, man, they're all laying on things. And the thing is, like, I can understand that for most of the men, but even Jeff Bridges' character, who is not a sailor who's been out there for like weeks and weeks, like he just jumped on this ship. I was like, man, even you are going out of your way to try and get Dwan to notice you. And there's a moment in which Charles Grodin, he's also going out of his way to like please Dwan and get her to notice him. But then they mentioned that he has a wife. And then there comes a moment later on in which he's trying to hook up Dwan and Jeff Bridges. And I was like, that's kind of some nice character growth that he's not jealous of Jeff Bridges hooking up with Dwan.
I guess so, but like at the same time, I feel like basically like Dwan wants to be a movie star, so like basically he wants like to get her connected to Hollywood.
That's true.
And like he wants like Jeff and Jack and Dwan to be like the big Hollywood couple.
He's trying to make money off it.
Yeah,
so yeah, you have a point there. That is a very good point.
In fact, that's the whole reason why he kidnaps the ape. It's like, oh, there's oil, but we can't use the oil, so fuck it, we'll just take this ape instead.
I did like the guy. He's not a big enough character to really be like that memorable. I think his name was Bagley. But he's the guy who's there to like examine the oil, and they find a bunch of like bubbling crude, and he's like, yeah, all right, this is it, we're gonna make a ton of cash off this. And I do like that Bagley's the one who investigates it and comes back and like, oh, that's gonna be some fine oil in like 10,000 years. And like Bagley's just like, you dumb motherfucker. You fucked up so bad. Oh my goodness. I love that moment. But I also, you kind of feel for Charles Grodin's character in that moment too, when he realizes that he just spent all this money and all this time getting out here to this strange unknown island, only to discover, yeah, you can't use this oil for 10,000 years. It's completely useless. And you see the wheels turning. I have to bring something back. And this thing really wants you to know, hey, it's the 70s. We're all very environmentally conscious. Oil companies kind of suck, right? And they're bringing up recent stuff. And they're bringing up, what was it, Exxon? No, not Exxon. Who's the Tiger tank guys?
Shoot, I forget.
We live in New York, so we have not been to a gas station in like 20 years.
Also, this takes place in the 70s. I don't think any gas stations right now have a tiger mascot.
That was from like our childhood. Like, you're right, I've not even seen that in a while. But yeah, there was a gas company that used to have a tiger as their mascot. Then the mascot was, get a tiger in your tank. And they're like, yeah, just bring the big ape back.
Put a giant ape in your tank.
Ape tank. Yeah, so I do like seeing his gears turning and where he's going. But we should really talk about, it's King Kong.
Yes.
This is a King Kong movie. We should talk about King Kong.
Yes.
King Kong is pretty good in this movie.
Yeah, the animatronics are really impressive.
This might be, no, there's no might about it. This is the best practical effects King Kong I've ever seen. I mean, granted, if you do like some kind of like weird special effects inflation and you're like, okay, let's think about what original King Kong looked like at the time that it released compared to this, then there's an argument to be made. But if you're just looking at this, man, there's moments in which you're like, I don't even know if that's a mask or if that's a robot. I mean, I think it's a mask, but that's a really good mask. Holy crap. And the green screening of it, you're gonna notice it now. Back in the 1970s, when you're watching this in a grainy theater, you probably would not notice it. When you're watching it in HD, you're gonna notice the very hard cutoff.
But like even then, you can't help but be impressed with like all the work and effort they put into it.
Still, even then, even when you can see the outline, the way that they're using like forced perspective and stuff is really impressive. And there's also just big, real monkey hands that they made. They made actual giant hands for many of the shots. They're moving around and like interacting with people, and it's really damn impressive.
Yeah.
Like it's an actual moving giant robotic hand. It's crazy what they were able to do. I will say for Skull Island, there's not enough other monsters in there. I think there's just a big snake and that's it. I'm not remembering anything else.
Yeah. But I don't think there really needs to be any other monsters.
I think that when it comes to Skull Island, you need to kind of portray like, no, this is the land that time forgot. There's other big stuff out there. That's always been a part of every other King Kong thing. Like the original one, he's fighting a T-Rex. In the Peter Jackson one, it's also T-Rexes, but then you've also got like, there's like a moment of like giant spiders and stuff. And then in Kong Skull Island, like it's just like it's nothing but Skull Island is the theme of the movie. They made sure like focus on there's a bunch of other monsters here. I do feel like the other monsters in Skull Island are kind of lacking. It feels like it's just King Kong and maybe there's something else big in there. So yeah, I felt like I was a little lacking, but King Kong is really good in this movie. But from there, it follows the path that you know King Kong. Mm-hmm. They capture him, they take him back to New York, and again, it's very interesting to me to see this because original King Kong set in the 1930s. The Peter Jackson one also set in the 1930s. Skull Island never leaves Skull Island. He never comes to New York. It is really interesting to me watching King Kong go around dirty-ass 1970s New York. Like, that dude's about to run to the Warriors. It is so...
He's gonna get his ass kicked.
King Kong just walking into the wrong part of the town.
Like, oh shit! I'd rather be back at Skull Island.
Yeah. Oh. King Kong misses his wallet. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's actually a funny concept. Because that thing, New York, there's so many people who still try and paint New York like it's this horrible, savage, unlawful town. No, New York is Disneyland now.
Yeah.
New York is so fangless and it is so clean and squeaky now. 1970s New York is the reason why you think New York is like that. Mm-hmm. It is so over the top with crime. Was so over the top with crime. That yeah, it is kind of funny to just think about King Kong. It's like, oh yeah, think about the fact that there were probably like multiple muggings happening on every single block right before King Kong started walking down. Like the mugger and the person they were mugging just went, ah! God, that would be such a good joke they could put here. But yeah, it is really cool actually watching King Kong walk around. But there's a couple of moments in here. We're talking about the practical effects. There's a few moments in which King Kong is on display, which I would gotta say is King Kong breaks out immediately. Like, there is no suspense on that, which that's one problem I have with King Kong in New York. We'll get into this a little bit more later, but it feels like a lot of, once they hit that moment of King Kong's in New York, it feels like a lot of it is just them turning to the audience going, okay, he's here. We know the things that have to happen now. Let's just get it over with. Because, yeah, the moment that he gets put on display, which I love that it is also a very 1970s display that he's on. Like, it feels like Evel Knievel should have jumped him on his motorcycle. Mm-hmm. Like, it is that.
Like, they literally, like, drag him, like, off the ship and onto the shore.
Like, there's no in-between. Man, I had so many questions in that moment. Like, it feels like there's a couple of days missing here, and I want to know what happened in those days. Mm-hmm. Was King Kong just chilling on the boat that entire time? But yeah, they drag him out there. He's on display, and it's this big, tacky display.
Yeah, like, basically, like, a cage around his body with his head sticking out.
Yeah.
Like...
And he breaks out of that shit immediately. And I love that Charles Grodin is like, he's Homer Simpson with the pig. He's just like, okay, he broke out of that cage, but it's still good. He's still tied up this way. Okay, he broke out of those ones, but he's still tied up at the feet. It's still good. It's still good. Okay, we should probably run. Okay, we're going into spoiler stuff here because it's King Kong. You know what happens in King Kong. But I will say, when he actually starts rampaging there at the beginning, it was kind of shocking because this film turns to you and goes, a giant ape is about to start stepping on people. Get ready.
Yeah, like, I guess they kind of gave us a pre-warning with the snake. Like, you saw King Kong rip the snake's head off.
That was graphic.
Yes.
That was shockingly graphic.
Like, oh, this is just foreshadowing for more graphic shit.
But you don't actually see the after effects of it. But there is someone that gets stepped on, and when it happens, you look at it like, oh, I heard the squish. Like, even if it wasn't in there, my mind implanted the sound of it. Yeah, it's kind of severe. But King Kong, he doesn't climb the Empire State Building in this one.
No.
They do make a reference to Empire State Building here. It's like, hey, yeah. No, he climbs. You've seen the poster for this. He climbs the Twin Towers. Which it's been 25 years. It's probably not that awkward for most people watching. But I mean, with the age that we're at, we still have that thought of like, oh yeah, but here's the thing. This film. In the original, King Kong is rampaging the entire time, and it feels wild. It feels like, oh, there's this unrestrained beast, and he's climbing up this tower now. What's he got to do next? This film, it feels like the movie just stops and turns to the audience and goes, you know he has to do this. You know, let's all just get to it. Just gonna happen. He grabs Dwan, which, when you think about the angle that he grabs her on, it makes no sense. She's in a bar, and then you see the hand coming in from here, but then she looks up and King Kong is looking at her from like the sky, from like the
skylight.
Skylight, yeah, that's what it's called. But he's from this angle, and the hand is coming in here, and I was just like, was he Mr. Fantastic? What? How is he doing that? But that was a small detail. But then, what was his name again? Jack sees the Twin Towers, and he realizes it kind of looks like these two mountains that were on Skull Island. And he says Kong is probably going to go there. And he calls up the military, and he tells them, all right, you can capture Kong, you just have to, like, get everybody off the street and clear a path between here and the Twin Towers, and let him climb to the top. When he's at the top, you can catch him. And all I could think was, okay, how do you know he's going to climb them? Because I don't believe he climbs the mountains in that film. I believe he was at the base of that mountain.
Yeah.
So how do you know he's going to climb it? It literally feels like the film is going, we have to have Kong climb it. You know he's going to climb it. Just let it happen. Because he just goes for a lovely little stroll through a completely silent and emptied out New York because they clear everyone out. The military steps aside and King Kong just has a nice little walk uninterrupted over to the Twin Towers. And when he gets to the tower, the military guys are all just standing there just watching him. Because they're not going to do anything until he gets to the top, which sounds like a stupid idea.
Yes, because if he falls, he might fall on top of you.
Or he'd kill Dwan. You're like, okay, first off, how do you know he's going to climb them? There's nothing. Again, I do not remember him climbing the mountains. I remember him hanging out at the base of the mountains. So, how do you know he's going to climb them? How do you know he can climb it? Because this is not a mountain that has like ridges and stuff. It's a building. Like, I guess his fingers could go into the windows, but those windows are not big enough for that. Hey, buddy.
Speaking of climbing.
Boop, and there you are.
Yep.
Good dog. And also, man, you're really putting Dwan's life at risk on this. But as King Kong is approaching the building, the military guys are all staying around watching, and King Kong sees them there, and King Kong keeps stopping to turn and look back at them, and it so feels like Kong doesn't want to do this, but if Kong feels like a real human being who read the script and was like, I don't want to do this stunt, but the director was like, you gotta do this stunt, and now we're capturing those brief moments of him like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Is there no other way? Okay.
And like, they had plenty of time to like shoot Kong right then and there, but obviously that'd be anticlimactic.
Well,
so
I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry, I had to take a sneeze break there. But yeah, the fact that he keeps like slowly walking up to it and like looking back at everybody, like I know it's supposed to be like, okay, Kong is wondering, what are these people doing who are just staring at me? I get that. But it feels like the actor in the suit is going, I don't want to is there no other way? Do I really have to climb? Oh, all right. I'm doing the thing. Look at me go. All right. And he climbs up there, and Jeff Bridges gets in the elevator and rides up after him. And there comes a moment in which they start firing at him up there, which it was like, that's not part of the plan, but they're doing it anyways. And then Kong has to jump from one building to another. And the moment that happened, I went, that's why this movie was made. Like, I heard stories about the making of this that was supposed to be like tied to the bicentennial because it came out in 1976. So it was like, okay, which one of our most famous movies? Let's remake that for the modern era to celebrate America's 200th anniversary. Like, I heard stories about it having to do with the bicentennial, why they decided to remake this. But the moment that you see Kong jumping from one tower to another, no, that's why this was made.
Yep.
Someone got that image in their head, and they're like, ooh, man, that's gonna look real good. And you know something?
It's like
it looked good.
I was wondering, it's like, what other ideas they had? Like, did they have like think about like Kong climbing like the Statue of Liberty or something like that for the bicentennial, or like
for the bicentennial that would actually be better. That would be. I gotta admit that's actually not a bad idea. But yeah, you can look at that moment and be like, that's why this was sold. And then Kong, of course, gets shut down. He falls. He crashes. But, okay, we're in full spoiler territory here. There is something that I really liked about this ending, which is that Juan comes down and she's sad about King Kong. But then a massive crowd of reporters swarm around Juan. All Juan is to be famous. And there's a message in here that I really like. Maybe it's just because I'm a creative person and I have a business where I have to also occasionally make deals with people I don't want to, and I have to stop and think like, okay, this goes against my morals, but I need to cover this. Should I actually do this thing and talk about this? There's a moment in there in which Jeff Bridges and Dwan are going to be the big stars promoting King Kong, and Jeff Bridges hates that idea because he wants to protect and preserve King Kong. He hates that any of this is happening. He wants to study it. He doesn't want it to be some sideshow attraction. But Charles Grodin is telling him, like, okay, we already paid you. Give back all that money. All that money, like, there's even like a moment which he says, like, okay, you don't want to do this? I'll go to someone from Princeton. I'll go to someone from Yale's. They got people who would love to study this too. And Jeff Bridges just stops and slowly, like, you see him, like, deflate and, like, and, like, yeah, I kind of like the message in there of, like, okay, morals versus the opportunity that you have to make a choice in there. And, like, yeah, I kind of like this movie actually shows, like, yeah, man, that's a hard choice you gotta make sometimes.
It's capitalism that killed the beast.
Yeah, you said that as soon as the movie ended. I was like, that should have been the tagline. That's exactly what this movie is. This movie is capitalism killed the beast. And I kind of like that. I kind of dig that's the message of it. But at the end of this, all these reporters are swarming around Juan. And Jack is trying to reach her, and he can't because he's being divided by the crowd. And then there comes a moment in which he looks at Juan, who now has everything she wanted, but she hates it. Mm-hmm. And I am kind of a sucker for those. You got everything you want, and it's not what you thought. I like those kind of stories. And Jack just kind of like, again, just kind of deflates and goes like, yeah, it's, you're now in this, you got the thing you want, and I can't be part of that. Mm-hmm. And I like this movie ends on that message. Because, like, don't get me wrong, King Kong dying is sad, but you know it's going to happen. I feel like the emotional gut punch of Juan got to be a star and she hates it, and Jack and her are now separated because he refuses to be a part of that world. I think that's an even bigger gut punch. Like, I really like that. I think that's great how this ends. I don't know. What about you?
I did think it was a very interesting ending, like, especially like compared to like the original, but
yeah, the original was just like, oh, darling, I'm so glad that you're safe from that vicious ape. This is not a metaphor for anything. I honestly don't think they did. Like, that's a whole other discussion, but we've all heard what King Kong is supposed to be a metaphor for, and I always think, like, I don't think the filmmakers intended that, but I always kind of like when a movie has a metaphor that the filmmakers didn't intend, but that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, so anything else you want to say about this movie?
I don't know. I think we pretty much said what we needed to say.
We kind of went through this whole film, yeah. It's one of those, it's rare that we spoiled that much, but it's like, it's King Kong, you know what's going to happen. As for a score, I'm so torn on this. Because part of me is like, man, this is kind of a boring, nothing movie. This is like a C at best. But then the effects are really good. And I really like that ending.
So B minus, maybe?
I'll go B minus.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, I'll go B minus. All right, but that was the 70s, and we are continuing going through the decades of kaiju films, and we start with Godzilla, and now it is time to go into the next generation of Godzilla. We are going to Return to Godzilla. That's not the actual title of the film. It's Return of Godzilla, but we're returning to Godzilla with the Return of Godzilla. It was the one from the 1980s. Come back next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.